Now, on the last day of the 10th World Trade Organization conference in Nairobi, delegates were yet to reach a deal on agricultural subsidies. Some protesters are pressuring developed countries to cut subsidies before discussing any new issues. The Geneva-based WTO, which has more than 160 members, has been trying and largely failing to agree on a worldwide package of trade reforms since a meeting in Doha in 2001 hatched an ambitious plan for knocking down trade barriers. African countries in particular have urged wealthy states to reduce their farm subsidies, which make African products less competitive. Now, the conference has so far reached some agreements, including a technology deal that will eliminate tariffs on 65% of internet technology products. Well, for more insight, XN Iraki, professor of economics at the University of Nairobi, joins me by phone from Nairobi. Professor Iraki, welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you very much.
Now, what are you hearing? Is there any last-minute deal here, especially on the agricultural subsidies issue?
The Kenyan news media, particularly the Business Daily, have reported that there was a deal, and the deal specifically was on farm subsidies. But they're specifying that they won't be in place until 2020, which is about 5 years to come, which in my opinion appears quite fine in the future, but it's still very good news.
That sounds like really good news. So what would this mean to African countries particularly that have been fighting for this?
I think the good news is that they will find it much easier to engage in trade. They will find it easier to sell their products, particularly primary goods, to the European market and to the other developed countries' markets. So that will mean more trade and more income, particularly for the subsistence farmers who do a lot of farming in this country.
Yes. Now, do we have any details as to what this really means, or was this an endorsement of what was crafted in Doha?
I'm not sure whether it was an endorsement of what happened in Doha, but the good news, everybody on the street seems to be very happy about that. But what I know is that from Doha and Road and so on, that was always a contentious issue about agriculture and the subsidies, particularly from developing countries like Kenya.
Now, Professor Iraki, can you just break it down for most of our viewers, what those subsidies do for African products and what now it can mean to those who are farming, just like those in Kenya?
I'm not hearing you very well, but basically what subsidies mean is that developed countries make it easier for the farmers to sell their goods so that if the world prices are low, then they can pay the farmers an extra amount of money so that farmers never make a loss and they keep producing. So if you don't give subsidies to your farmers, particularly in developing countries like Kenya and so on, then your farmers suffer because their products are not competitive in the global markets. And that makes a huge difference.
Very quickly, there was also the agreement on technology. How much will that mean? What will it mean to the countries in Africa?
Sorry, I don't get you very clearly.
Agreement on technology items, on electronics.
So that's very good news, particularly for a country like Kenya that has been a hotbed of innovation. So we have M-Pesa, we have a lot of computers coming in, a lot of mobile phones coming in. We are talking about a revolution in electronics in this country, and in ICT. So with the tariffs going down, then I see this sector becoming more vibrant than it is today. And we hope that in the future it's going to get to spill over, not just to the neighboring countries, but to the whole of Africa. So it's very good news.
Okay. Professor Iraki, thank you very much. XN Iraki is a professor of economics at the University of Nairobi. Well, we want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we cover. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa 54. And check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Find me on Twitter at VOA Vince Makori.